he is obviously totally religious. Anyway, he embeds it in this narrative here. So, probably when I go south again, he will have disappeared. They can't survive the fawn-faced man. The girl of the cabin, a nice girl but a bad cook, had found us a guide, her brother. And he's going to take us to the necropolis. Should be page 12. What's a necropolis? What's a necropolis?
Dead city.
Where the dead are. It's a city where all the dead are. So it's not a living city, it's a dead city, like you said, yeah. Very good. Where the tombs are. Yeah, this is a funny scene too, you see. He's a young boy of 14 or so, and he's shy and suspicious. And suddenly he comes back with another boy. And, you know, Lawrence is with someone he calls B. He doesn't name him, but he's with a guy, a friend of his. They're traveling together, a guy called B. And he says here, B and I are two quite, quiet-mannered, very harmless people. But the first boy could not have borne to go alone with us. Look how well he writes, not alone. He would have been afraid as if he were in the dark. Has to have someone with him. Couldn't just go with us. He has to bring fun. I always tell a story. I don't have a lot of time left in this course to do that, but if you ever do go traveling like this, don't let the guide bring a friend along. That's all I can tell you. I was in Syria at one point, and I was going out to a place called Aleppo, and I was looking at ruins of Ebla and places like that, and then I went out to a famous place in the Syrian desert called Palmyra. It's on the caravan route to northern Iraq. This was before the Iraq War, when things were a little bit calmer out that way. And the guide wanted to bring a friend along. The guide was, you don't drive in these countries, you let him drive. So he said, oh, I'm bringing my friend. And that was bad. It was 2 against 1, you see. And I tell you this, I frankly barely survived with my life. That's all I can tell you. And those guys would have cut my throat if they could have had gotten away with it. They wouldn't have been willing to do it singly, but with 2 there, yes. And I can tell you, just don't let someone bring a friend along if they're taking it simply. Make them go alone with you. You're much safer, and you're much more liable to get where you're going. Because the second person reinforces the first in his or her bad vibe or design. And frankly, I'll never forget that, and I just pass it on to you for what it's worth. As this reminds me of, these are just little boys, and he says, not alone, he would have been afraid to go on. This is a different thing, obviously, that Lawrence is talking about here. Okay, so he describes everything on page 13. The Etruscans built everything of wood, houses, temples, all save the fortifications, gates, bridges, and so on. And the Etruscan cities vanished like what? As flowers. Always the flower imagery. Why are we reading this? Because we want to get his philosophy of the environment, his philosophy of sexuality, his religion, if you want, of sexuality, his religion of the how does he put it so well? Not just vitality, but the instant moment, as he calls it, the quick of life. It's a unique thing with him. The quick of life. He looks at the paintings. If you've read this, I hope some of you have read it, not depend on me for everything. And he sees in there the natural quick of life, which society is trying to kill in us. Because we only live once. And we want to be alive in that time. We don't want, he said, as he puts it, not deadened by morals. Whether morals deaden some or not, I can't say. But in the Victorian, post-Victorian era, in the early 20th century, I suppose that's the way it was. Now things have swung too much on the other side. Now we're deadened by pornography. So it goes back and forth, swings back and forth. Lawrence is part of the cause, as I told you, of our pornographic world. And I think he will tell you about the phalluses that are standing out in front of all these places. And he also speaks about lingam, and I don't even know what such words meant before I read Lawrence. And frankly, I don't really want to know, but if you want to find out what it means, go look it up in a dictionary. It's a phallic symbol of some kind. How many have, again, you haven't traveled much, I know. Have you ever been to Pompeii, southern Italy? Well, you almost get knocked over by, can I be crude? I'm crude anyway, it's true.